am Grace. This is Kenyan Stories.
We're comparing Kenyan and American culture to see what's different, but also what's similar. And today, Grace has a list of 5 travel tips.
Yes.
If you're planning on flying domestically within the United States. And really, they could be good tips for anyone, really. Yeah. But these are things that you've noticed.
Yes. That
are different, and maybe international travelers who are traveling within the United States might not know that these are things.
Yes. We've been traveling a lot, and these are things I've noticed. And one of the things that I consider or take high precautions about when traveling in is outfit. Like, what am I going to wear when I'm traveling? We always told in Kenya, if you're traveling for the first time, you want to look smart, formal, put on a suit.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And here, you can put on anything you want, basically. Mm-hmm. Though you must know the weather of where you're going, because I remember when we went to LA, it was very hot on that other side. So, I was very precautious of not bringing my puff jacket.
I think so many people, Americans, they go for comfort on the plane, right? So you may have even seen in the airport people just wearing their pajamas or sweatpants.
Yeah, pajamas, yeah.
Yeah, just like anything, very casual, very comfy. Slippers. I sometimes wear slippers at the airport because usually you have to take your shoes off to get through security.
Right, yeah.
Which is also a little, I don't know if that's on your list, but...
No. Security, yes.
Oh, it is. All right. So we'll talk about more of that later.
Yeah, just dress as comfortably.
Yeah, you can just
as you can.
Dress comfortably. There you go. Number
2 is food. Traveling from Kenya to a different country, you expect to be given food on the plane. Here in America, we did a trip to LA, which was 5-6 hours, and they don't give you food. You buy the food, and the food you buy are like snacks, basically. It's not a proper meal. So that was very shocking or surprising to me.
Yeah, I think it depends on the airline too, and what you're flying. So the flight we took was on JetBlue, and they generally they do have free snacks and drinks. They're small, like you can get a small bag of peanuts or cookies, like those kinds of things. Or you can pay a little extra and get a bigger thing. And actually, I think we ate fairly well, given what was available to us on the plane.
There's no hot food.
There was no hot food. That's true. But sometimes, some trips they do have hot food. So it just depends on what airline you're taking. With JetBlue, they have Mint service, and so if you're flying on one of these Mint planes, they generally do have hot food.
Oh, okay.
But it is for purchase. It's not.
Yeah,
it's not available freely.
So if you're a Kenyan planning to travel domestically in America, just bring your own food, prepare yourself, don't just go in hungry.
Yeah, or buy some food in the airport, bring it on the plane,
yes.
Which is what often people will do.
Yes, correct. My third is duration of a flight. So comparing with Kenyan, if you're taking a plane to go just within Kenya, I think the longest duration from one end to another would be 1 hour. Like this is maybe Eldoret to Mombasa, or Nairobi, Mombasa is probably 45 minutes. But here, we took a 6-hour flight. It was like traveling from New York to London. It may easily have been an international flight, so yeah.
It's long.
Yeah.
And if you take a flight to, I think the furthest, I haven't flown from New York, but flying from LA to Anchorage, Alaska, that you have to do in 2 flights, just like you would having to go from here to Kenya.
Right.
And they're lengthy. I think it's 4 hours from LA to Seattle, and then another 5 or 6 hours to Anchorage. From there.
Same country.
Yeah. I don't know if that's quite right, but it's something like that.
The next point is delays. So in Kenya, I thought we were the kings and queens of delays in flights. No, it's the same here. I remember our trip to Florida. Back from Florida to New York, we had like an hour delay, and we had a bit of delays flying to LA as well, but it wasn't that crazy. So delays are everywhere. It's not just special to Kenyans. But be in time. Don't do a Kenyan time thing. I'm going to expect a delay, so I'll just arrive there.
Well, that's true. You do actually they will close the door. They will literally just not let you on the plane. There was one time I was coordinating a tour of a small performing group, a choral group, and with orchestra to go down to Mexico and to perform. Mm-hmm. And I remember we waited for one of our singers, and he literally arrived like 2 minutes before they were going to close the door. We were like, we can't leave without one of our singers.
Oh my gosh.
And we're trying to call him and be like, where are you? And he's like, yeah, I'm almost there. Like that was the closest I've ever seen somebody get to be like not on the plane. Like you missed your flight.
Yeah. ID checks. They do check for identity here if you're a permanent resident or not. You want to make sure you have an ID, the passport, if you have the green card, with an American citizen issue, or what do you know when they show? Just
driver's license.
Yeah, so
you can actually show your driver's license.
Oh.
Once you're in the United States, all they need is a form of ID.
Yeah.
So
you may not necessarily need a passport.
You may not if you have a different identification. As long as it's something that I don't know. Maybe you have a driver's license in Kenya, but they may ask to see your passport also. So,
in Kenya, they do ask for your national ID.
Yeah.
Not necessarily the driver's license.
Sure.
So, yeah.
Here in the U.S., you may be able to show that.
Yeah. Okay.
But they may also ask for your passport. So I would be prepared just in case.
Yeah.
But really, all they're doing is checking to make sure that you are somebody who is meant to be flying on this plane, so that nobody's just wandering in who doesn't have a reason to be there.
Correct.
Yeah. So, and actually to that end, I know that it is very common in Kenya for people to see you off at the airport, for people to come and was this another point?
No.
Okay. Sorry, I didn't want to step on your toes. But it's very common for people to want to come to the airport, hang out a bit there, and say goodbye and all that. You can do that in American airports, but generally it's not as easy. There are places that some airports, large major airports like JFK in New York City or LAX in Los Angeles, they have an area called, I think it's called Kiss and Fly, which is, I don't know why it's called that, but it's somewhere where you can park, you can meet with, so you can say goodbye, but there's not like a coffee shop there or anything. It's not like people hang out necessarily. It's different at some different airports may have those things, and you may find, we flew into Burbank Airport in Los Angeles. There are cafes and restaurants near the airport, so you can meet there and say goodbye. Yeah. But there's nothing, you couldn't do that at the airport because if there's any food at the airport, it's usually behind security.
Yes.
So
I think it's also good for security reasons.
Yeah.
You don't want someone just being that when they're not meant to be there.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
So that's 5 travel tips. Grace's 5 travel tips on traveling within the United States. Hey, do you have any travel tips of your own, something you want to share, an experience that was interesting? Let us know down in the comments below or find us on social media. All of our links are down below in the description. And if you like this video and you want to see more, be sure to like, comment, subscribe, share this video with all your friends. And until next time, kwaheri.
Bye.
And happy flying. Okay, let's get out of this hotel.
No way.
Oh, I can just leave you.